My name is Peter McNamara. I'm a tiler, I'm a student, I'm a father, I'm a writer, and I'm a filmmaker. So in my younger years, between 11 and 15, I was in really terrible youth centres. Um, terrible jobs. I mean, I worked in a bar, emptying out old bottles and picking up fag butts, and really horrible. I got a trade at an early age. I was like 15. Um, Back in them days, getting a trade was like winning the lotto. You know, my mum and dad were delighted. It was 4 years training to be a tiler, and at the end of it, I would actually be something. When I was about 13 or 14, I started making horror films in the backyard. I lived in the army barracks, so they had this big abandoned buildings that you could just cruise in, and they were perfect setting for making horror films. I used my dad's old Handycam. It's like a Sony, and I did things like sellotaped the Handycam onto a skateboard and got my friend to pull it along the ground, so I had a little tracking shot of people walking and running. And after that, I just loved films. I bought makeup, I bought horror masks, and just made horror films. When I got to an age where I thought about making films or writing films, I was influenced by the likes of John Carpenter, Tobe Hooper, American directors that were independent and had made really substantial independent films like Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I would read all about how John Carpenter would write, direct, produce, score, do everything to keep the costs down. And I was super interested. I thought, like, if he can do it, I can do it. And that's kind of where my early influence started, horror directors. Well, going back to college, there's a couple of different reasons. One, I left school early, and I wanted to almost prove to myself that I could go back and, and do it. Also, I have got 3 small kids that all look up to me, and I thought, what better way to show them that college is the only route to getting ahead than for me to do it myself. So I went back and I did it for that reason. The Bridge was my first attempt at filmmaking. It was a story I had written through true life events. If you've seen The Bridge, you know that Jerry is he's a married man with kids who is on the brink of losing his job and his house, and he's suicidal. So I wrote it from experience. And I didn't really know anything about filmmaking. I didn't know about sound, cameras, anything. I just knew I wanted to try tell this story. So with the help of my fellow students and a couple of local actors, we made this film. And it went on social media. And I guess so many people in the city felt how I felt when I was on the bridge. And people shared it a lot. People watched it a lot, and I know that it touched a lot of people. Subsequently, I ended up doing interviews with Limerick's Live 95 and other radio shows, and I did interviews for the paper. And for a while there was a buzz. There was a buzz about it. Everyone spoke about it, and I was nominated. That was my first nomination for writing, which was ironic, seems as the reason I was on the bridge is because I left school early and I felt worthless, and that I felt like I couldn't do anything, especially not write. After that, people started mentioning to me about my writing, that it had a different feel, that it was a little bit more raw than what was being made. And I had continued to write and I wrote and wrote and wrote. The City Culture Film Bursary came up, and I wrote a script for that, and I was chosen by Jerry Stembridge, the novelist. He picked 3 winners, and I was one of them, to write a story for the City Culture Training Initiative that would go on to be shown on RT. You know, I went on from there, and I wrote a short film for a local actress. I wrote it specifically for her. It was called Loss. It was about bereavement. It was about dealing with it. Everyone deals with it in their own way. And as with every story that I wrote, I tried to write from experience and real things. I think it's easier for me to write that way. I wrote Loss. We shot it in 2 days, and it was nominated for Best Writing again. So I've had 3 nods for my writing ability, which is, as I said, it's outrageous, since I didn't do secondary school, and I swept floors when everyone was doing junior cert, you know, and I picked up rubbish, and now I'm a writer. It'll be about moving forward, making better films, and always striving to reach my goal. And my goal is to be a paid writer / filmmaker, and never have to sweep floors again.